Law Simplified with Justice, the new informative, educative, and thought-provoking program is what you need to keep abreast with law and politics. This exciting and truly refreshing program is anchored by Justice Maduforo, a solicitor.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a soul-searching discussion here with my colleague. We've been dissecting sole responsibility under the individual rule, those under 18 and those above 18 years of age as well.
Law Simplified with Justice understands that law is a powerful driver to human behavior. It is therefore poised to simplify the law and get you to take action.
Bring it to your doorstep and simplified the way that you will understand.
Contact Justice by calling 07931 727 597 or email lawsimplifiedwithjustice@yahoo.co.uk. Law Simplified with Justice, bringing the best to the audience.
Hello, this is Law Simplified with Justice. I'm your host, Justice Maduforo. Today on this program, we'd like to welcome you especially for tuning into this program once more. I would always want to start by saying that law is a powerful driver to human behavior, and it's important to understand the workings of the law in all aspects of our lives. And how does that affect you? In this program, we'll be discussing so many areas of law. We'll be also bringing discussants to discuss issues with employment law, criminal law, commercial law, contract law, and all the areas of the law that affects you. But today on this program, we'll be discussing discretionary leave to remain in the United Kingdom with the Home Office. To some of you out there who may be affected or directly not affected, but indirectly with your brothers, sisters, nephews, cousins, friends, colleagues, it is important that also you tune in to this program to also be educated on what is going on. Before we start this program, it's important to let you know that all that we'll be discussing in this program is the opinions of these discussants. Therefore, it is not legal advice. It's important that if you want to rely on them, you need to seek proper legal advice before you can act on them. As you can see our details on the screen shortly, all that will be on there. You contact us thereafter this program. We'll be very happy to assist you, discuss your case, give you a tailored advice, and then represent you should that need be the case. Ladies and gentlemen, today, as I said, we are discussing discretionary leave to remain in the United Kingdom as it affects you or in the person that you know. Today, to discuss this matter with me is again Mr. Bola Matthew Owolabi. You're welcome to this program once more.
Thank you for having me.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we also going on to discuss this. Before we start that, people will be wondering, what is discretionary leave to remain in the United Kingdom? Remember, this is under the immigration laws, and it is important you understand whether or not your legal status in this country warrants that you make any form of application or the other. But we will be bringing to you how approaches, the procedures, what it entails, the eligibility that involves this application. Discretionary leave to remain application, as you will know by the name, is a discretionary thing. It is basically what you will make application depending on your situation. Then the government would, the Home Office, as case may be, will decide whether or not it is essential or do you fall into the categories or criteria that will be necessary or compassionate enough to grant you some form of leave to remain in the United Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, now it is very clear that applications of that nature are dealt with based on individual circumstances. Now, putting the question to you, what are the circumstances of an individual that could reasonably bring such an individual to make such application, aside the fact that Article 8, which is the Human Rights Act, is definitely plays a huge part in this application. What other form of circumstances do you think that can come in as well?
Okay, let's take hypothetical situations here. So what we're discussing here is just really hypothetical. So let's say someone is in the United Kingdom. Let's say previously they were students. Unfortunately, we're not encouraging it, but unfortunately they have overstayed their leave to remain. But then they've got children, they've got a spouse, whether that spouse is a British citizen or not, or has indefinite leave to remain. But then they've got children, maybe born in the United Kingdom, or who arrived in the United Kingdom some time back and have lived there for some time. They may not want to return to their country for certain factors. For example, a powerful incentive for certain people not to want to return to their country is the fact that their children have grown up in the United Kingdom. They've imbibed the culture, they're used to the life here, and taking them back to their country, those children would notice the difference. They might, especially if you're talking about a third world country here, the children would know that there's been a significant drop in their quality of life, in their access to education, and so on and so forth. So if you've got someone in that situation, an application for discretionary leave to remain, i.e. made under the Human Rights Convention, may be appropriate in such a circumstance.
Right, you hear that. It is also important to consider that Article 8 is a very powerful tool here as to consider and to determine whether or not some form of leave to remain in the United Kingdom ought to be granted the individual. Now, another question that comes to the mind, obviously people want to find out, is that am I eligible for this, to lodge this application? The eligibility issue here determines, also depends on your family circumstances. We are dealing with Article 8, which is the human right, family life. It composes of yourself and what makes up that family and children as well involved. Now, Mr. Wallaby, let's talk about, as we have also enunciated out, the individual circumstances vis-a-vis the Human Rights Act. Now, what other circumstances of an individual will bring that individual into within the parameters to make this application, aside the family, assuming this person doesn't have a family, he lives on, but he's been here for quite a reasonable length of time. What other aspects that come in there? I'm sure there are quite one or two areas that can come in there.
You're absolutely right. The next one that comes to mind is on medical grounds. You are in the United Kingdom, you have serious medical condition, which you may have difficulty getting treatment for in your home country. It may be because the treatment is absolutely not available, or if available, you would have to go to significant trouble to get that treatment, or you may not be able to afford it. In those circumstances, well, you could put in an application to be allowed to remain. It would be an application for discretionary leave, but the legal framework under which it will be considered, just like the family one, will still be the Human Rights Convention.
Right. Okay. Viewers, we've been discussing here discretionary leave to remain under the immigration rules. Unfortunately, this application is made outside of the immigration rules. So the issue now is what will bring me into the sentence of which I can be able to be eligible to make this application. This is what we've been discussing here. We discussed Article 8 of the Human Rights Act, which is important. You search yourself and see, have that formed a human right reason to be here? Family life? Have you got families? Have you got children? Have you got grandchildren here? What are the things that compose of your family life? It might be almost on your way. If you can just ask questions, and then we can be able to diagnose your circumstances very well and see whether or not this application will be made. Ladies and gentlemen, as we've been discussing this, the phone lines will soon be open so that you can call us to ask questions of what and what you feel is necessary. But we're still going on to discuss a few issues in relation to this application. We've discussed the medical grounds as well. Now, medical grounds, obviously, you have, Mr. Wallaby, you mentioned that this depends on whether or not the country of that applicant would not reasonably be able to afford the medical treatment. Now, what if such country would be able to afford the treatment, but the treatment is way beyond that applicant in terms of high-powered instruments or drugs that are used to treat such a person, but the expertise is not there in that country? Can one plug in through there to make a case for this applicant?
In all cases, you can make a case. We're unable to discuss prospects on this show, apparently, of any particular case. But as a general rule, you can make an application. Even if it seems absolutely hopeless, you can still make an application to the Home Office based on your circumstances. Of course, the fact that the medical treatment is available in your country is a significant factor that the Home Office will take into consideration.
Yeah.
However, it is not going to carry more weight than any other compassionate factors that a person may have in their circumstances.
Right. So basically, this is an application that when you lodge this application, basically the Home Office will now use their own discretion, keying into your individual circumstance.
Law Simplified with Justice, the new informative, educative, and thought-provoking program is what you need to keep abreast with law and politics. This exciting and truly refreshing program is anchored by Justice Maduforo, a solicitor.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a soul-searching discussion here with my colleague. We've been dissecting sole responsibility under the individual rule, those under 18 and those above 18 years of age as well.
Law Simplified with Justice understands that law is a powerful driver to human behavior. It is therefore poised to simplify the law and get you to take action.
Bring it to your doorstep and simplified the way that you will understand.
Contact Justice by calling 07931 727 597 or email lawsimplifiedwithjustice@yahoo.co.uk. Law Simplified with Justice, bringing the best to the audience.